Well, then Jesus uses humor again. He knew how to hold his audience's attention. He uses a humorous, graphic insult. You blind guides. We already saw that's a pretty graphic statement. You strain out a gnat, but you swallow a camel. In English, we actually got an expression about somebody straining at a gnat, and it should have been strain out a gnat, but there was a typographic error, a typesetting error in the original version of the King James Bible, and so people, instead of saying strain out a gnat, it said strain out a gnat, and so people, that became a figure of speech in English sometimes. But the point is they pay attention to minutiae. Tithing was small compared to the larger principles of God's heart, which may demand from us more than a tithe. Or if somebody's really poor and that's all they have to live on, to eat with, maybe they should be more likely receiving. Anyway, I won't go into that because people can make excuses for themselves, but those of us who do have resources now need to consider how best we can use them for the kingdom. But what does he mean, strain out a gnat and swallow a camel? There may be a witty pun in Aramaic. Camel and gnat sound similar. Gamla versus kalma. And you know, prophets often used puns to pronounce judgment. Micah chapter 1 has a whole series of puns. You have one in Jeremiah chapter 1. What do you see, Jeremiah? I see a rod of an almond tree. Well, that was wording that also spoke of, could also talk about hastening judgment. Amos chapter 8, what do you see? Amos, I see a basket of summer fruit. Well, summer fruit, also the same word could mean end. The end is coming for Israel. Well, there may be a play on words here. But beyond the play on words, there's also something that's pretty clear. Pharisees avoided certain kinds of uncleanness. Leviticus chapter 11 said that if an insect dies in your drink, or you know, a lizard dies in your drink or something, you can't drink the drink. Well, many of us would agree with that, even for other kinds of reasons. You know, we think of it in many cultures, at least, as unclean. Although I did have to do it one time when my host was giving me that, and in his culture it was very offensive if I didn't drink what he gave me, and he didn't see when he poured the fluid into it that there were some dead flies in the glass. But anyway, normally they wouldn't drink something if something died in the drink. But the Pharisees, they wanted to figure out, well, how large does it have to be to count? Well, a fly would count. But they said anything smaller than a lentil doesn't count. You know, so if a gnat dies in your drink, it doesn't count. But here we have a hyperbolic, super scrupulous Pharisee. This Pharisee says, oh, even a gnat, I'll strain the gnat out, won't let it die in my drink, so that my drink will still be clean, still be kosher. But then this same Pharisee gulps down a camel whole, a camel being the largest animal in the vicinity of Judea and Galilee. The camels, Leviticus 11, camels were unclean. So they strain out a gnat, which was debatable whether they had to do that or not, but they swallow a camel whole. They're fixated on small details, but they miss the heart of God. They miss the big picture.